All right, guys, I just came out of Dunkin' Donuts. I'm on my way to go donate plasma, so I like to have a little something in my stomach before I go. And if you haven't seen a recent video of mine about donating plasma, you probably should. It might be beneficial to you. But enough about that. I want to talk to you about the history of the donut. It's very important. You might not think it is, but it actually is. And here's the reason why. When I think about the history of the donut, the main thing that comes to my mind is how the little things, the little ways we poke a hole in our world make a huge difference. You know, many people are very concerned about the mark they're going to leave. They're concerned about their legacy, whether they're going to be remembered or not, whether anything they said or did ever made a difference. And I'll have you know that they do. But oftentimes, it's not the very big things that you do. It's the sum total of the small things that you did. Do you understand what I'm talking about? These things are the mark of your character. These are the things that give people consistent thread to follow to find out what kind of person you are, whether the remarks you make are valid, whether there's any truth to what you say, whether you can be trusted and be considered reliable or not. And so, the history of the donut has something to teach us about this. Now, here's how it goes. The donut really comes to us from Holland. They were baking them back in like the 1500s, and they didn't look like this. Just the round pastry with the hole in the middle. They didn't look like that at all. They were actually quite small, and I'm getting cinnamon all over my lap as I talk. But they were actually quite small. And they were just a solid piece of dough. I say solid. I mean, not like a raised donut, but a solid cake donut, through and through. And it was only a walnut-sized pastry, which is where we get the nut in donut, because they were originally walnut-sized. All right? But the problem with the donut back then, after the Pilgrims brought it to America, or what we know as America now, they brought it with them. But the problem with the donut back then is that it had a soggy, greasy center. And there was one man who decided that he needed to do something about this because he liked the taste of donuts, but it gave people indigestion, or at least it did him, and he wanted to rectify the situation. He was a sea captain, a mariner. His name was Hanson Gregory. What an amazing name, especially his last name, right? Hanson Gregory. And I think he was born in 1847, but he's from Rockport, Maine, if I'm not mistaken. And he would make donuts on his ship, and he learned it from his mother. And but he, like I said, he didn't like the soggy, greasy, doughy center. And he thought to himself, what if I just eliminate that? What if I just eliminate the only problem with this whole thing, which is the center? So he punched a hole with some kind of an item. I can't remember what it was he had on his ship. He punched a hole in the donut, and with the thinking in mind that possibly this donut might fry more thoroughly. And as it turned out, he was correct. And that's why today we have donuts that look like this with a hole in the middle. All right? So he eliminated the hole, corrected the problem, and at least for him and his men, no more indigestion. And believe it or not, he is forever remembered as the inventor of the modern donut. In fact, you can go to Rockport, Maine now, and there's a plaque located somewhere in honor of him as having been the inventor of what we know as the donut now. Which goes to show you that in America, you can be famous virtually for creating nothing, right? Nothing. But that's not the point. The point is that he punched a hole in his problem. He punched a hole in his problem. It was just a small solution. It was just a small difference, but it made all the difference in the world. It made the donut more palatable, and we still enjoy them to this day. Now, you won't go into Dunkin' Donuts to see Hanson Gregory's name anywhere, but he is remembered. He did leave a legacy, and I'll have you know that you don't need to focus on the big things that you're trying to achieve to make a difference. There are many people out there who are trying to make $1 million, or trying to create or invent something that's probably very well needed, or they're trying to market something that will make them highly recognizable in the public eye. And they think this is how they're going to be remembered, by being famous, by being proven worthy, because they contributed something that everybody can benefit from. Well, that's all good and well and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. But just remember that those opportunities really don't come to everybody, and they're really not meant for everybody. They're really not meant for everybody. But we all have a legacy to leave, and we do it by punching holes in our life on a daily basis, by making a small difference here and there. And before you know it, you've lived a whole life of making small differences that add up to a lot. And so therefore, that's what we have to learn from the history of the donut. And I just love this story. In fact, I've told it to my kids on a number of occasions, I think to the point that they probably roll their eyes now whenever I bring it up. But it's a great story. Never forget it. In fact, like I said, I think Hanson Gregory was born in 1847, but they didn't even they didn't even place the plaque in his honor until 1947. I think he was still alive. He was still alive, and they interviewed him. He said, "I was just trying to make the donut better to eat. Better to eat. I was just trying to get rid of the soggy centers. All I was trying to do, so our men didn't get indigestion." So it doesn't take highfalutin thinking. It doesn't take enormous amount of planning. Just make small differences every day. Just punch little holes do things like try to make someone else's day better. Try to put a smile on someone else's faces. Just make small, tiny improvements in everything that you're already doing. Just make incremental moves every day in a positive direction, either for yourself or for somebody else. And trust me, you will have lived a life worth living, and it will be a legacy that will not be forgotten, especially by the people who love you, know you, and care about you. That's how you do it. Learn from Hanson Gregory. Learn from your donut. And if next time you go to Dunkin' Donuts or any place you go to get your donuts, just remember the story. Let it be a reminder to you, and put yourself in check. All right, guys, I've got to go. I've enjoyed my time with you. I've got to go donate plasma now. I got to eat these up really quick before I go. But I've enjoyed it, and have a happy Saturday. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.